now for a check of weather. Andrew Whitmer's filling in for Matt Yurasovic this week. And the drought picture, well, it has definitely not improved everywhere.
And as we take a look at the drought outlook that was just released for today, again, we continue to watch some worsening conditions still down across the Texas panhandle, where again, we're likely going to continue to see drier weather prevailing here over the next several days. And in fact, as we go throughout this last full week of May, we're going to be watching this drier area to kind of expand here across the four corners, and we're going to see some of that heat building on up as well. And as we take a closer look at the root zone, again, you can see where that moisture is saturated up across the far northern plains, the Pacific Northwest, and meanwhile, much of the Midwestern states, but a lot of red showing up there across the desert Sunbelt areas, as well as parts of the southern plains, which is not good news. As you'll see coming up here, we're going to continue to see drier weather prevailing here as we go throughout this final week of May and likely lingering into at least the first half of June. Looking at the jet stream for this week, we're going to still be dealing with some cooler weather, but watch what happens as we go towards late week Wednesday into Thursday, right on into the Memorial holiday weekend. We're going to be watching this upper level pattern building on in here, this upper level ridge, and that's going to allow this heat to kind of build back on in here, kind of a dome of heat that's going to expand across much of the lower 48. Just watching a little bit cooler weather with this trough up across the Pacific Northwest. Otherwise, again, we're looking at a warm holiday weekend for many of us across the United States. Looking at the pattern here for Monday, we're going to be dealing with that high pressure across the Great Lakes area. Meanwhile, all eyes on the stationary front that could bring with it a scattered shower or two throughout parts of Texas. And then as we go throughout midweek on Wednesday, we'll be watching cooler weather kind of prevailing with that to dip into that jet stream with that trough here. And meanwhile, again, this high pressure will continue to kind of exit the area. And we're going to be watching warmer weather kind of building back on in to parts of the Midwestern states. And as we get that warmer air surging on in, there will be a slight chance here to see a few spotty showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms as well along a few of these boundaries that will likely set up as we round out this week and going forward into the Memorial holiday weekend. Looking at the temperature trend for this week here, again, overall, some below normal temperatures can be expected across the far eastern northern plains, as well as the upper portion of the Midwest, as well as the Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, above average temperatures can be seen across the Sunbelt areas as well as across the deep south. Notice those deeper reds there. So temperatures could be well above average. And looking at the precipitation trend for this week, likely seeing above average precipitation where some showers and thunderstorms get on going across the eastern half of the U.S. Meanwhile, a drier Sunbelt area again. And as we go on into the final week here, the first week of June, we're going to really see that heat building on in here. And look at the precipitation trend here going towards that first full week of June. More below normal temperatures across the Sunbelt area.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, weather a factor yet again in the markets this week. That's as there's a close eye on planting progress. When we come back, we'll dive into the markets and what moved wheat and soybeans and how much prevent plant we could see in the northern Corn Belt. We'll discuss it all next.